Good evening and welcome on a Tuesday night to Loud and Nerdy. Goddamn right, right.
Light.
Welcome to Loud and Nerdy on a Tuesday. I'm your host, JW Colwell, joined as always, well, by one of my hosts who's on time, co-host, Jerry Kamora. Oh, wait, there's the other one.
You made it. You made it.
Why don't you go fuck yourself?
Wow.
Yeah. Actually, I am logged in too, and but I was seeing if I needed to use your link or if I used my own or what the deal was.
Oh, you're logged in now? That's cool.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
You
can control all the comments.
Yeah, I mean, I can even do that.
Look at you.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff. I told you.
Yeah.
I've given you some power. Look
Good
at
evening,
that.
Ken. Good evening,
With
Joe.
Power comes great responsibility.
I need you back where you belong. Welcome on a Tuesday night. Joe says good evening all. Raven says, hey boys. I'm sorry. I'll let you do that now. I'm sorry. Well,
there it is. There it is.
Yes.
I maybe. Well, you know what? I don't regret it. Kyle's a valuable member of the Loud Nerdy team. Does he? Well, I mean, he has some power now. He does. That is true. And it's
Snap.
And I just want to explain why Jerry's doesn't need it. First off, Jerry's comfortable in his own skin. Kyle needs to wield a little energy.
Except for when you have poison ivy, then you're not.
Then you're not comfortable in your own skin.
Jerry's crawling out of his own skin.
Pretty much.
Well,
a week later.
It is what it is. How's everybody doing this week?
I'm good.
Not bad, considering.
Good.
Yeah, you're fighting poison ivy.
It's fighting me too.
I want to talk about a little something because I was like, we're going to talk about box office. We're going to talk about different things, of course. All the news that's fit the print, anything that we come up with or want to talk about. But I had an experience. I went to the movies this week on Sunday.
Is the head swelling or is it ball dropping syndrome? That's the real question.
You are just
dissension.
Well, at least I get seen now. So anyway,
what do you mean? At least you get seen now?
No,
like you've never been seen? You've never been seen before?
At least they get seen now.
Who gets seen now?
The comments in a timely fashion. Wait, what? not 3 segments later. I'm like, what are they referring to?
Okay, well, you try to do something nice, and then all of a sudden it's just it's chaos, and it's bad. It's bad juju.
I hope it's not meatloaf.
It could be meatloaf if you continue on
that meatloaf.
If you continue down this path. So I was trying to think of I went to see Lawrence of Arabia on the big screen this week. Okay, they had Fathom Events had a big event, and I went and I took one of the younger guys that I played D&D with, and it was his first it was the first time seeing it, and I was thinking about it. Are there movies that I have a couple questions from this. Okay, so Lawrence of Arabia is one of those movies where it should be seen on a big screen. Right, it's epic and huge and amazing. Poster right there,
so big, huge.
Peter O'Toole, wonderful, amazing, really great performance. It's his first performance on screen, and it's just this great David Lean epic that demands to be seen. Are there any movies that you like? Classic movies. First question. I can't believe we're doing ball dropping soon. First question: is there a classic movie that you've seen that you've been disappointed with? Something where you saw it and you're like, I don't know what the like.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, is there a classic movie that you've seen that you went that did not live up to expectations? And I don't know what my expectations were, but whatever they were, that isn't it.
I need a chance to think about that.
Okay,
Movie that-
a classic movie that you've seen that where you
Was it this past year?
well, that's what I mean. It could be something recent. It could be something where you recommended it, or
I'm
could be
thinking
something
old school.
yeah. Well, like Lawrence of Arabia is one of those movies. It's easily, if you talk to most cinephiles and they've seen it,
Cinephiles.
it's
Doesn't work.
it's just one of those great movies, right? It's one of the movies that it was made in the '60s. It's celebrating 62 years on the planet this year, and it's just one of those movies that it gets in your skin. Pretty Woman and Married to the Mob were lame. Okay. Wasn't quite thinking Pretty Woman. Like I was thinking
What, like Lost Highway?
well that's a classic movie that I don't know that
That's-
I enjoy immensely.
No.
I was trying to think of something where I saw it where like most of the classic movies I've seen, I usually come out of them and go, okay, I know why it's a classic. Right? I can piece together in my head.
I think a better question is, what's a movie you might have seen when you were younger that you've gone back and rewatched and were like, why did I like this?
Well, that's a different question, but
Yeah.
we can do that question too. I'm not having that problem right now. We did Last Starfighter last night on Generation Movie, and I can't stand the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh, well, that's good news, Ken. You're gonna get it. They're doing a reboot.
A remake.
So
I saw that.
yeah, you get a shot, Ken. They're doing a James Wan remake. That's part of the news today. I watched The Last Starfighter this week. Like, I've had a good movie week. I watched, Lawrence of Arabia on the big screen, which I can't recommend enough. Kyle, have you ever seen a movie more than once?
I've seen Deadpool versus Wolverine at least 3 times now. And that's a recent one, so yes.
Jesus. I didn't even see it yet.
JW didn't like Porky's. Where did you get that from? That's patently false.
It's certainly false in this house too.
Just thought of a new segment. You guys should ask these questions so we can think about it for the week. That was the idea of the segment, Raven. But I just wanted to see if it's something, because like Lawrence of Arabia is one of those movies that when you go see it in a big screen, first off, it was great. There was an overture. There was a 50-minute intermission. There was an outro segment of music. You know what I mean? So we it's one of those movies where it just demands to be seen on the big screen. I think it's such a gift to be able to give somebody that. The idea, like one of the things that I was thinking about this week a lot was my dad. My dad took me to a lot of old movies, and we watched a lot of old movies together, and it was just something we did together. And one of the gifts he gave me was taking me to a screening of Lawrence of Arabia when I was like, before he died. I think it was in like '89. You know what I mean? We went, it was like 70 millimeter. It was big. It was huge. And I gave that gift to the kid I played D&D with this week. And I just think it's a really great gift to be like, hey, you might not have had someone in your life to show you these movies, but I did. Hey, brothers. Hey, Sean. Good to see you. Kyle's in charge of the comments. I have nothing to do with it. Ooh, definitely Ben-Hur. So you were disappointed with Ben-Hur?
No, that goes back to Ken's comment that we had up there that you missed.
Look,
Jaws 4 was bad.
But that's not considered a classic.
No, it's not. But
Jaws 4, interesting side note about Jaws, The Revenge. Let's get the name right. Jaws, The Revenge.
I do have it on Laserdisc.
Michael Caine won an Oscar for Hannah and Her Sisters, and he missed getting his Oscar because he was filming Jaws: The Revenge. True story. Ben-Hur and Them. Them is one of those great movies that my dad showed me when I was younger, right? Like they're
Them is
The
good.
shark is broken.
I actually liked Food of the Gods too. I thought that was good.
yeah.
Or Day of the Animals.
Yes.
Leslie Nielsen fights a bear. It's amazing.
Get Shorty wasn't funny. Okay. But I'm talking more like a classic movie that
Like
maybe
epic classics, right?
I don't know why Sean had to say
Well, not
something.
epic.
It's my fault every time we have a show.
That is patently false. I am not in charge of the comments tonight. Is all I said, Sean. I don't blame Kyle for anything. Night of the Leap is horrible. Yeah, well, no, but I don't know that Night of the Leap is considered classic. You mentioned Them use a lot of stock footage, sure, but Them is one of those movies that my dad showed. Like somebody from another generation showing you a movie where you watch it, you get into it, and then you love it, or you get there and you're just like, nah, is what I was thinking about. So let's table that, and we'll save for next week. Like
That's tough.
Classic movies that's the question. Classic movies that either didn't meet expectations or exceeded expectations. How about that? We'll talk about that a little bit next week. Just something I was thinking about because seeing Lawrence Arabia.
One of the ones. There's something that I have for later that fits in that category.
Yeah, that's a great movie. I think part of this discussion, right, is like I think it's a generational thing, right? Also, like where your parents or people in your life have an affinity for a certain actor. So like your movie will tie in because the actor in the movie is one of those actors that people had a real affinity for in every role he was in. Even when he was in bad movies, they found a way to.
Even the other one, kinda too.
Yeah, well, yes, the other one as well, but the one that gets more mileage out of his iconic stature. Plan 9 from Outer Space, okay, but you went into it knowing it was bad. I heard someone say Twilight is a modern classic. No, I give credit to Strand for making the book somewhat palatable, but from a movie issue point of view, explain the blue. And this is more of a question for like a generational movie kind of thing, like a from one to next. I didn't say I don't like Plan 9. I'm just saying I don't consider Plan 9 a classic.
I think it might have been the Ken for saying Plan 9 in general, but
it's sort of like a cult classic as opposed
it is, but it's more we're not watching
classic,
it,
right?
Yeah, we're
take
not
a
watching
shot every time you see the screen or the string holding up the ship.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I don't know that it's like
Nope.
It's not Citizen Kane. Like Citizen Kane could be one. People when my dad showed me Citizen Kane when I was younger, like we watched Citizen Kane and it definitely lives up to the hype. It is like you can understand why people study it, right? Like the cinematography and the storyline. And did you shake your head? What'd you shake?
That you didn't need to see Kirk Douglas's ass.
I liked Escape from Alcatraz too. That was good.
Yeah,
I have that poster.
We have the most random movie, like bouncing around from movie to movie with Lawrence Arabia, Plan 9, Them, Saturn 3. That's right, JW. Justify Twilight. Make sure no one has an off screen. I'm not saying it's a classic. I'm just saying there are people that love it. There's an unconditional love for Twilight. I don't think it's. I don't particularly understand it.
Only people that like fucking vampires that sparkle.
I think the werewolves are the bigger problem. But that's just a personal thing. I want cool werewolves like in Dog Soldiers and The Howling. I want giant.
I got to explain Blue's Clues. Well, I mean, it's this guy Steve with a dog.
I was gonna say, well, Bluey is a young dog that lives with her sister Bingo. I don't know. Explain the Blue. I don't under. You're gonna have to explain me explaining the Blue. Is where we're at. Okay, I've caused a stir. Did anyone like the original Jumanji? Yeah, I think the original Jumanji, was a big hit when it came out. It's a movie that people kind of look at. It was kind of like right ahead of its time in the sense that, they were doing things. Right? It's a Robin Williams movie, so he is one of the actors, right? We were just talking about like the actor that's tonight. Robin Williams is not necessarily in all of the best movies, but Robin Williams, no matter what movie Robin Williams in, people like Robin Williams movies, right? So he's not
Pretty much.
He's not like Patch Adams isn't a great movie, and I said it, but he's always Robin Williams, right?
I think our overlord has spoken, and he wants us to move on. I don't know.
Watchmen Part 1 on demand starting today. Watching after this. Okay. I look, all I know is you're in charge of right. That's a Robin Williams interesting to come up with 10 years since he passed away. The other thing about Robin Williams that I think is really interesting, I don't know if you've heard some of the stories. Recently, after the 10-year passing, there are a bunch of stories like the little girl who worked with him on Mrs. Doubtfire. He took care, he put money away for her. Like there's that story out there. The news story that came out was that Sally Field lost her dad during the making of the filming of the movie, and Robin Williams went in, completely changed the shooting schedule. You know what I mean? Completely changed the shooting schedule so that she had plenty of time to go and take care of her dad's stuff. Because dealing with a parent passing away, or anyone passing away for that matter, the sheer volume of things that you have to do in the time frame, the allotted 5-day time frame, because we don't have a lot of time to grieve in this country. Just get it done, right? But he changed the shooting schedule, so you're constantly hearing great stories about Robin Williams. So it not only extends out of his great performances, but it also makes it it makes him more of a legend. Despite Tim being in it, The Shadow is bad. I think The Shadow is underrated.
I still think Ben Affleck was the bomb in Phantom, Joe.
That movie is great too. Like that movie, people make fun of Phantoms, but that movie is really good. Like, I like that movie. I like The Shadow. I don't think The Shadow's great, but there are movies I go back to every once in a while, and I'm just like, why didn't this hit? Like, I'll give you another example of a movie that didn't hit that should have. Maybe. The Phantom should have hit. Billy Zane, riding horses, fighting bad guys, magical rings. It should have hit. Covering for Feinstein, who wasn't out yet during interview.
No, he didn't freeze, folks. He got stumped.
I know.
I'm trying to figure it. Okay, so I
thought it
assume
froze too for a second.
I saw the little Windows thing spinning.
Yeah, it wasn't a Windows thing. It was the hamster rattling around in the cage above my skull. Ooh. I would assume it has something to do with Harvey Weinstein covering that he, basically a lot, like a prayer's playing a lot. I'm still trying to figure out the Feinstein thing. I would assume it has something to do with Harvey Feinstein, or I don't know. I'm not in charge of the comments, so I can't be held accountable. I'm out. But let's talk about this. So we're gonna for next week. The question is, Phantom put me asleep. My wife is angry at me for dragging her to it. Well, that's on you. If you fall asleep during a movie you want to go see, that's on you, buddy. That's a no-no. I once got into a fight. I went to a movie. What was it? It was the Christian Bale movie that was a little bit like The Searchers. It was a Western, and I went in the middle of the day and there was an old couple, and they were sitting apart from each other, but they were together. And the husband was up by me, and the wife was behind us, and she was out, like snoring, out, like just completely out. And I turned midway through, and I said, "Ma'am, can you please stop snoring? Can you please wake up?" And the husband's like, "You got a problem?" I'm like, "Yes, she's sleeping and making noise."
Well, she left her CPAP home, pal.
It was unbelievable. It was like, and afterwards he came up to me and he's like, "You want to go?" I'm like, "You're 60.
Do you want to go?
You're 60."
No, I wanted you to go.
Harvey Weinstein wasn't out during Doubtfire, and Oprah's show was going to use it. And Robin saved by starting a joke with Oprah. We used to talk about it everybody how much of an ally Robin was. Okay, I thought it was a different thing. I thought it was the blue from Twilight. Anyway, may have gotten name wrong. Long day. Gotcha. Perfect. And that and bye. Okay, but yeah, the thing about tonight, it's interesting. Losing control of the show is rough for me. I'm just letting Kyle's getting to play tonight, so it's fun for Kyle. I'm super excited.
Just put them up there as they come in.
Okay. You want to know what's going on my side? My side, I have comments that says 19. So it looks like I haven't looked at the comments at all. And so I'm just freaking out. Okay. So other news of the week, box office news. First off, we had a weekend at the box office. It was really interesting. We had 2 movies over $50 million. Doesn't happen that often. We also had 2 movies that happen to have a husband and wife in them. So it's the first time since 1990 that the box office has had a 1 and 2 movie with a husband and wife. You guys know what the movies are? It's been out a little bit, but we'll ask. Do either one of you guys have any idea? 1990 was the year. Husband and wife team. Husband was number 1, wife was number 2, same as this week. With Deadpool
2 and whatever Debbie Moore was in.
Ghost,
yes.
Die Hard 2 and Ghost in 1990. So Deadpool and Wolverine was $53 million, only down 44% from the week before. So it's just chugging along. By the end of it's already over $500 million. Domestic, it's trying to catch Inside Out 2, which is also just chugging along at 636 domestic. It ends with us open to $50 million, which is oddly enough, Howard.
The Duck.
I think it's a Howard the Duck thing. Deadpool has husband, wife, and child. Yes, but we don't want. She's not credited. So she's not credited in that movie. No one's excited about the new animated Watch movie. It's 2 parts. I thought you guys were loud and nerdy. Look, we haven't gotten there, Joe. We haven't gotten there, and I'm excited about Watchmen in animated form, but I've already read the comic. We've seen a live action movie.
What are they going to do about?
Although Warner Brothers does do better animated movies than some of their live action stuff.
There goes JW bragging about being able to read again, folks.
Yeah, it's a brag. It's a humble brag. Ends with us $50 million out of seemingly out of nowhere, but like I told you last week, it was tracking really high because of the writer. Although interesting stuff on the sidelines, the director Justin Baldoni, lot of friction there between people from the movie. There apparently were 2 cuts in the movie, one that Blake Lively liked and one that he liked. He's been in the press where he's just by himself. So at the premiere, nobody from the cast stood with him at all, which is rare at these Hollywood events. And then one of the snide kind of comments he gave was maybe Blake will just direct the sequel herself, which is snide and doesn't bode well for Justin going forward. Third at the box office was Twisters, again only down 34%.
That
Running total of about 222 million.
very interesting thing. A lot of the drive-ins around here
Uh-huh.
are showing Twister along with Twisters this weekend. They're
Yeah, it
showing
was something. It was something that was put forth by Warner Brothers and Universal, to kind of coincide with on streaming. You can buy both of them in a package, right? So that sometimes when the streaming things happen, during Crocodile Dundee wasn't Paul Linda Miller until her left what?
Breast.
movie.
Booby. It always goes to Booby. Watch Twisters on Sunday. Very good movie. I think it's a good movie.
I thought it was okay. I saw it.
Like I
it's
said
fun.
before, I was able to lay the whole movie out in the first 20 minutes of how it was going to play out, but it was still fun to watch.
Big news of the weekend, and something we talked about a little bit. Borderlands. We haven't really talked about it because I didn't want to give it a review because it doesn't deserve a review. I don't give a fuck what anybody says about movies being bad. Borderlands is putrid. Like, it was bad. Like, not just bad, but really bad. Like, epically bad. And I think it's a bad week for it to be epically bad because I think 2 weeks ago, Jamie Lee Curtis was talking shit about, what phase of Marvel are they in right now? Bad. Yeah, Borderlands is not good. It's a twofold thing. It's not good if you love the games because they get a lot of stuff wrong, and it's not good as a movie at all. Like it's like Temu Galaxy of the Guardians. It's just it's bad. And it's like it doesn't have a coherent plot. Like it's PG-13, and Eli Roth is at his best when he gets to do gory, frankly, right? Thanksgiving's gory, Hostel's gory. When he does gory, it's fun. But this movie is like, it's PG-13, so everybody can get in. So there's no gore. It's badly miscast. Kevin Hart is like, he's just there. Like, and he's not playing a funny guy, he's playing a tough guy. So it's like, it's a game, it's an open world concept game.
I'm with you, Ken.
Basically about outer space. It's an outer space game where basically you go to different planets and you're hunting for vaults that contain alien technology. And so it's got a like a Mad Max quality to it because people have been left on this one planet where it's all like kind of crazy. But it's just the movie is, or any video game movie is good.
Tron.
Yes, Tron's great. We just did The Last Starfighter last night on Generation Movie. That movie's great. But not because it's about video games. It's great because it has a lot of heart. Like that's what I'm discovering as we're going through some of the movies from the 70s, 80s, 90s during this Generation Movie Filmiversary we're doing this year. Part of the problem with current movies is that they're missing like a little bit of a heart on their sleeve kind of attitude, right? So like we did Night of the Comet last week, we did Last Starfighter this week, we're doing The Crow next week. These are all movies that have some sort of semblance of heart. My friend called me off the movie yelling about no poop train. I don't play this game. Anyone want to explain? I guess there's a poop train in the game. I don't really play the game either. I went with somebody who did play the game, and he was so disappointed in the choices. There was pee. There is a pee scene. And then, there's all kinds of memeable jokes about, does anybody know what's happening? Did I miss anything? And it's like, no, you didn't. The movie's terrible. There was no Last Starfighter or Tron game first. Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily make it a video game movie. movies can be about games and then inspire video games. The Tron arcade game was one of the absolute best video games inspired by a movie, right?
Wait until Gamer comes out. Wait till that game comes out. Based on that movie, right?
But yeah, I it's just it's a bad movie. It bombed hard. 8 million on over 3,000 screens. Not good. A per theater average of about $2,000. So it will be streaming as quick as you can find it. But again, the shock, it ends with us again proving that if you make a movie for ladies or movies that have female protagonists, they're 53% of the populace, and they might want to go see a movie that looks like them.
The Fab Four says others.
Well, the Fab Four has 3 people over 70 years old. You know what I mean? Blake Lively is not over 70.
They're ageist.
I'm not being ageist. I'm being realistic. There's only one person watching the show who thought it was a good idea to put the Fab Four out against Deadpool and Wolverine. Tron 4 Ares, 9 Inch Nails. Yeah, that was announced. You thought it was going to be a great breakout thing.
No, I was just bringing it up because we just completely overlooked it and figured, why not throw it out there?
Well, yeah, we overlooked it. The audience overlooked it. The audience is continuing to overlook it. Hollywood overlooked it. Everybody overlooked it. Tron Ares, this wasn't announced.
Wish her agent would have at least overlooked the script before he said sure.
They should have. Tron 4 Ares, 9 Inch Nails doing all the music. It's a great concept. I think the Tron series is good. And like Jasper, I don't necessarily think you need a video game inspiration to be a video game movie. Obviously, we had Mario Brothers. We're probably going to get a Legend of Zelda movie. I'm trying to think of good video game movies. Maybe the first Resident Evil.
I remember when that first Final Fantasy cartoon movie came out and how realistic it looked.
Yeah.
Graphics.
But it didn't do well. It didn't do well.
It didn't do well, but just the visual of it, holy hell. It was hard telling if it was drawn or real life at some points.
Well, we're speaking of Tron and Last Starfighter and Tron are the 2 first computer-generated movies. There's 27 minutes of generated effects. 300 scenes of just computer-generated stuff in The Last Starfighter. But the reason The Last Starfighter is good has nothing to do with any of that. It's good because it has really great performances from Robert Preston and Dan O'Herlihy and Lance Guest and Catherine Mary Stewart. You know what I mean? Like, one of the things that I think is happening is every once in a while we make movies that seemingly have good cast. I'm looking at you, Borderlands, and they just don't have anything. It's an empty vessel in the center. Ooh, a Zelda movie. Hubert the movie. I'm not gonna lie, Ken. I'm always fascinated by Hubert. Hubert's a great game.
The best part of Pixels.
Hubert was the best part of Pixels. He was also very
Adam Sandler. That's for damn sure.
He's also super cool in Wreck-It Ralph. So how about Wreck-It Ralph? That's a good video game movie.
Yeah, it is.
The Final Fantasy movie destroyed Square's hope for doing more movies. Yeah, the Final Fantasy movie, because Final Fantasy games are meant to be played. Some of this stuff isn't rocket science. You know what I mean? Like, we're just like, part of the reason these games do well is because there's something about intangibly playing all these hours to get, like, I just finished Baldur's Gate 3.
You need a Spy Hunter movie.
They were working on it. That's one of the weird movies that was in development. Kyle, I'm sorry, are you bored with the comments?
Or Dragon's Lair.
No, I'm actually scrolling through the D23 announcements, figuring which ones you want to touch on here, buddy.
Okay, what do you want to touch on? You tell me.
I mean, of course, I'm always partial to Incredibles 3 coming out.
The D23. I think interesting enough, D23 announcements were something I was going to talk about tonight, but also something where the D23 announcements I think were more exciting in many ways than the Comic Con announcements. Right? I mean, the Comic Con announcements had one big announcement, but D23 ended up giving a lot more, kind of fleshing out what exactly is happening for Disney. Daredevil Born Again, Incredibles 3, Agatha All Along looking very good. Season 2 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which is one of the better book adaptations that's been put on a TV show. Tron Ares, of course, Nine Inch Nails score, doing everything there. All the Star Wars stuff. Skeleton Crew, Andor Season 2. First footage.
Friday too, though. Do we?
I think part of that is because they're just hitting on two people that are having a career resurgence. Jamie Lee Curtis is having a career resurgence. People are fond of that movie, right?
How old is Jamie Lee Curtis now?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Was anyone really surprised by Incredibles
65.
1? Bird wasn't tied to Fantastic Four, and Bird said in a review that he can't compartmentalize the movie more, which was incredible. From there, it was solid. Well, The Incredibles are one of the few franchises within Pixar that you could see sequels. They are superhero movies, right? And superhero movies thrive on sequels. They showed some footage from Grogu in the Mandalorian movie that's coming out. I think that has potential to do very well. Mandalorian. I would also scream out, the Andor stuff. If you haven't watched Andor is one of the best Star Wars shows ever made. Skeleton Crew. Again, if you haven't seen the trailers, Jude Law's in this one. Cool things about it. Basically, it's about a bunch of kids who steal a ship. So it has the vibe I immediately got from the trailer was Space Camp or the Goonies fused with Star Wars. And can you go wrong with a bunch of kids who steal a ship because they want to escape their planet? And then they meet a Jedi who protects them? That sounds fun. Because kids can get in a lot of goddamn trouble. Who didn't think Patty LuPone was going to sing? Of course she's going to sing. She's Patty LuPone. Marvel Zombies will be 4 points and will be TVMA. Yeah, so they're not... I think part of the newfangled thing that's happening, I think they've got an idea of going on. There's a live-action Lilo and Stitch movie coming out. We're going to get a couple more live-action movies I don't know if we need.
Now, what's the real question is, what announcement from D23 were you like, really, do we really need that?
I'm going to be honest, the Disney movies that I don't enjoy, that I go to see and then I come out of it and I feel hollow inside. I'm not an Avatar guy. I'm not
not at all.
They're beautiful and they're incredible.
It's live action Smurfs to me.
I don't know about live action Smurfs. I do know Smurf. That I think Cameron Cameron is more intrigued with the stuff he can do than he is with storytelling anymore. He learned a while back during Titanic that if I throw as much stuff into this movie as possible, nobody will notice.
Avatar and Twisters. Similar kind of a emotional plot there.
I don't know. Have Cheetah Will View is booing me. I don't know why. Why is he booing me?
Why we're getting booed.
I always anyway.
When I heard Toy Story 5, the teaser trailer, do we really need another Toy Story?
That's one of them. That's one of the ones from there are Pixar movies that Inside Out 2 proved me wrong. I didn't think we needed a sequel, but now that they're together, they're both great movies, and they're incredible. They're incredible.
God's damn.
Yeah.
God's damn autocorrect.
Did autocorrect get you a second time?
Autocorrect.
Autocorrect.
The funny thing about autocorrect, it can't get autocorrect right. That's as much as they want original content, they didn't sell me on Hoppers. Yeah, but totally sold on Zootopia too. Can I give you a double feature for Zootopia? Funny thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll play into your fun ruse. I actually sent you a message, Patrick. If you have a slick or anything, because I am again appearing on your show tomorrow night at 8:00 for an hour and a half. Have Cheeto review tomorrow night, Blumhouse style.
The number of words Patrick will get in over and under in the chat, folks.
It's Patrick's show. I'm just going to answer questions, man. It's Patrick's show. He visits our show. He gets things in. I visit his show.
Don't give him control of the buttons.
Well, I've given Kyle control of the buttons. I'm not. Nothing's. I've given Kyle control of the buttons tonight. Nothing's going wrong with the show. But yeah, I mean, the D23 announcements were pretty spectacular. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we need a Frozen 3, but I understand why you're making a Frozen 3. I don't know why. I don't know if we need a Moana 2. I think Freaker Friday we need.
Moana 2.
I'm okay with that.
Wait.
I think the one thing we're not talking about that yes, you can use my thumbnail. Okay, send it to me and I will use it. Send it to me in Facebook and I will use 2027. I think one of the ones we're not talking about that's probably somebody who watches the show religiously, musicals. Somebody in our audience loves musicals. The Greatest Showman getting adapted into a Broadway musical is a pretty big deal because that movie will translate super well. They
come back for that though.
Well, yeah, and I think they're doing a Hercules musical as well. They're getting ready for a live action Hercules. So I think that movie is going to translate well to live action.
Did you get too old for Freaky, Jasper? Like, what's the deal here? What do you mean was?
No, I think he's saying Freaky Friday was good, so that people like that movie. That is a cultural touchstone movie.
Getting Freaky used to be good, but he's like
vice versa. Remember that one?
But yeah, there were a ton of body switch movies. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, what was the one with Ellen Barkin? Was that Switch?
Ellen Barkin was Switch.
Yes.
Right? Where she's like a woman. She's a woman who gets transferred.
He's a womanizer.
Womanizing man who gets transferred into a woman and doesn't like being treated bad. The Rock needs Moana too. The Rock's in a weird place. I actually think The Rock needs WrestleMania 41. Is what The Rock needs immediately because it will help him with his. He's got problems with the military. He's got problems with the XFL. He's got problems. He just wants to walk away, make a movie.
Well, he's also making Monster Jam, according to Disney.
Oh,
doing 2 movies for them.
What is Monster Jam? What is Monster Jam?
Rock's, I guess, doing a movie about being a monster truck driver in Monster Jam.
Oh, God.
That was announced there too.
Jesus Christ!
No, he's
I've gone to 2. Wait a second. I've gone to 2 Monster Jams. I still can't tell you what's going on. The last one we went to was 2 weeks ago with the kids, and there were 10 trucks to start, and it ended with 2 trucks that could function. So I don't understand. I don't understand. Let it go. Yeah, but so I think that's a question. Also, we'll put out for people. Give us what you're most excited about from D23.
I think
Tell us
Peter
the
gets excited about muscled up men in movies.
what?
Beastmaster.
Beastmaster's a great movie.
Yes,
They
it
got
is.
ferrets in Beastmaster. I love it.
We don't need another Hercules movie. Okay, yes, but that is they're going to do some live action adaptations. That is one of the few ones that will work. New Spider-Man animation looks great, and Coleman Domingo as Norman Osborn. Yeah, I like the idea of interesting people playing characters, voicing them or changing them or
Oh God, Book 2.
You devil.
Jesus Christ. What have we become?
That's a sequel to Oh God Book 2 is Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. No, it's Oh God, You Devil. Which
Heaven help us.
oh.
Heaven can wait.
The first Oh God was a quaint, funny little movie with George Burns. Then they made Oh God Book 2 and it wasn't good. And then they made Oh God, You Devil and it really wasn't good.
Heaven Can Wait was good though.
Heaven Can Wait's great. Okay. We're all over the place tonight. Mainly because Kyle's controlling the comments. You need a Hercules movie based on the 60s cartoon. Are you talking about the Herculoids?
The Herculoids
Ooh.
was great. Love
We
that.
need
That
Rogue
needs to
Squad.
come from Jerry's basement.
Yeah, but
I have it over there. I have DVDs of the Herculoids.
That was my first VHS tape in 1986. Was the Herculoids.
Herculoids would be a fun movie. I don't know who owns the rights though.
Be awesome.
I'm still
Yeah,
waiting for a
right.
goddamn Thundercats movie.
I'm still waiting for a Voltron movie.
I still want Wonder Twins.
Most looking forward to Fantastic Four. I don't know anybody who isn't looking forward to Fantastic Four. The design is sublime. It's amazing. Love the Herculoids.
Wow, we agree on something.
Okay, man, let's so couple things. The box office kind of in a nice place. Oddly enough, when people go to the movies, it inspires more people to go to the movies. Shocking. And this week has this. And can you just move the comments so they can see the drip? The buzz on this movie is huge. Rich saw it. Can't talk about it till tomorrow. But he tells me good things that I will be happy. His rec quote was, "I think you'll be very happy." And that, I think the interesting thing about this movie coming out, the look and the design look very similar to the original Aliens movies. And that's the key, right? The key is if we're making these sequels and whatever, Warner Brothers controls the Hercules, nice. We're making these sequels.
It's not going to be on Max, folks. It'll be.
Yeah, but it's not going to be on Max. I mean, the shit they own isn't on Max. Like
that's the joke. Very good.
I mean, the shit they own isn't even on Max. I was looking a little bit into Fede Alvarez, right? Fede Alvarez is the guy directing the new Aliens movie, and I think first Alien movie I want to see in theaters. Okay.
Years, but okay, good try with reading.
Rule 1 in space: don't be the person looking for the cat.
Yeah.
Well, that's Jasper. I have to disagree with you because Ripley eventually looks for the cat. She finds it, and takes Jonesy with her. So, although she leaves the cat, there's a great sequence in Alien where, and you're not really thinking about it as it's happening, but she runs into the alien and leaves the cat box right there, and just walks away like. I gotta go the other direction. The cat, and there's a great scene with the alien and the cat looking in the box at the cat. Like, who thought that cat was going to survive? But Fede Alvarez, right? He's become sort of like something they're calling. He's like a franchise whisperer, somebody who plays actively in other people's sandboxes and has some sort of love or like he likes the stuff he's doing. So.
Half the battle.
But that is half the battle. That he loves Alien, that he loves Alien franchise. He of course made this movie called Don't Breathe. Fantastic movie. He didn't direct the sequel, but he wrote the sequel. These are both really good movies, the Don't Breathe movies. And then, of course, he also directed an Evil Dead movie. That was fantastic. It's not the original, and it's not Evil Dead 2, and it's not Army of Darkness, but it was good, right? And he's one of those guys that classic directors trust. I was when I went to see the Alien. They brought Alien back in theaters for a week, and there was a huge discussion between him and Ridley Scott, and the deference he made towards Ridley Scott, basically saying how important Ridley Scott was to his career and stuff. I just think he gets it, and I think the movie's gonna have a huge weekend. They're saying anywhere from 35 to 50.
Huge, real big, enormous.
But I think it, like, again, anything over 40 would be a win for this, because this franchise hasn't been great since 86, right? It hasn't been legit great since 86. And we've all been going to Alien movies, Alien vs. Predator movies, all these different movies, Prometheus, Alien Covenant, all of these movies, and we're all longing for that the aliens vibe, whatever it, because they're both two different movies, right? Yep. One's the haunted house in space, the other one's military versus monster, and so if Fede Alvarez can tap into that, it could do more than 50 million this week. You know what I mean? Like, if I get there on Thursday and it's good, I'll be ecstatic. You know what I mean? And I'll be talking from the rooftops like, if you're an Alien fan, you need to go. But that movie's opening Friday. I'm super excited. I think I'm going to watch Alien and Aliens before we get there, even though I've seen them a gajillion times. But Fede Alvarez is somebody to watch. He's building up a nice little career where he's making. And again, the cool thing is he's playing in other people's sandboxes where he's not, he's not ruining it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm excited about the movie. I'm excited about it.
I don't think
80 million is way too high. There's no way it does 80 million.
Because I got high.
It's nice to have somebody in control of the
51.
Well, I think it could do over 50. I think, again, the buzz is high. I think it could do over
Well played,
50.
Jerry.
The man got 211 right. What can I say? He was just being a dick, but it was
a fluke.
It was a fluke. I have one easy prediction though. I do think this will be the weekend where Deadpool and Wolverine falls out of number 1. That's a hard prediction, but theoretically it's going to happen. And and we don't know what this movie is going to do on its second weekend. It's got great audience scores. People are coming out of it. They love it.
20 million.
20 million for that? You think it drops by more than half?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see what happens. But it should be a good weekend at the box office. Now, for everyone, for all, it's me. Nice. It came from Jerry's basement. Jerry, what movie is coming from your basement this weekend?
This weekend.
This week.
Epic movie. Sorry. Called Papillon.
Papillon. Steve McQueen. This is the actor we were talking about, by the way. Look at you with a VHS.
Yeah, it's a big box.
People don't even know. People watching the show don't even know what the fuck that is.
So big.
It's so big. But we're talking about actors that are iconic. Steve McQueen is he's one of those guys. Dustin Hoffman too, but Steve McQueen is a different animal. No matter what movie he's in, he's always and it's problematic. No matter what movie he's in, he's Steve McQueen. You can't get past that he's Steve McQueen. But his record, like the movies he makes, Papillon and the Sand Pebbles and fucking The Great Escape and and Bullet, all these fantastic movies he's made in his career. This is an interesting one though. This is it's set in a French prison camp. It's about it's him trying to escape the camp. And he couldn't find the beta. That's good. That's quality. I'm sure he has the beta.
I wish
But it's
I
him
had
and Dustin. It's him and Dustin Hoffman trying to live and then trying to escape from prison. And it's a good adventure movie. It's a well done 1973 movie. It's described as a historical adventure drama. And the film's title is, of course, French for butterfly.
And Papillon dogs are named that because their ears look like butterflies.
They actually did really good making them look emaciated and stuff in that movie.
Yeah, it's
like they really look broken down.
They look broken down. It's like you get the idea they weren't eating a lot of big meals, right? But it's a great movie. And people can find it where, right?
It is on Tubi.
Tubi for free. And a critical reception across the board for it. Kind of all over the place. But like Vincent Canby, great reviewer, big, brave, stout-hearted, sometimes romantic, sometimes silly melodrama, with the kind of visual soup you'd often find in movies anymore. That's the truth. It is big and it is cool. Depth. It has a depth to it, much like Lawrence of Arabia we were talking about earlier. Yeah, it's a great movie. Can't go wrong. The Deer Hunter, yeah, all in the same vein. Can't go wrong. A fantastic movie that came from Jerry's basement this week. And now Kyle will go to sleep. Jerry could do. Wait, what was that? Put that back up. That comment. Jerry could do all the movies in the Generation movie intro he made. That's true. I don't know if anybody knows that, Jerry. You should get a lot of credit. You made the Generation movie intro that we still use to this day. 2.5 years in.
It came out all right.
It came out great. I love it. It also gives me a minute and a half to compose my thoughts before I dive into whatever we're watching, or whatever we watch. We did this last night. JW has different lighting. I didn't. You know what? I didn't set it. I should have said it better. I'm sorry. Sorry. But I also want to put lighting on the stuff in the back. My Alfred Hitchcock doll that's in a very good place next to my Charles Woodson bourbon. Legit Charles Woodson bourbon. And now for the Twilight Zone Redux. A fantastic episode tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Long Live Walter Jameson is the name of this episode. It stars the indelible Kevin McCarthy. He plays a history professor at a college named Walter Jameson. And basically he's his friend. The way this particular history professor talks is amazing. Talks about history.
A lot.
He knows a lot. The narration.
No one should know.
There's two pieces of the narration, and as it zooms in on the person talking, who's Walter Jameson, into front of his classroom, you're looking at Act 1, Scene 1 of a nightmare. One not restricted to witching hours of dark, rain-swept nights. Professor Walter Jameson, popular beyond words, talks of the past as if it were the present, who conjures up the dead as if they were alive. After basically the camera then cuts to an elderly man sitting in a seat. He's Professor Samuel Kittredge, Walter's best friend. And it says, in the view of this man, Professor Samuel Kittredge, Walter Jameson has access to knowledge that couldn't come out of a volume of history, but rather from a book of black magic, which is to say that this nightmare begins at noon. So it basically, it has the look and feel early on of it's a college. This is Kittredge, and Kittredge basically invites Jameson to his home. They have an ongoing chess game that they've been playing for the 12 years they've known each other. And basically,
that old guy's pants look like a skirt.
That's how it was.
That's how old people dress. You leave him alone. But basically, Kittredge and Jameson are close, and Jameson has become enamored of Kittredge's daughter. And her name is Susanna, and basically, she's not in the episode that long. It's a four character episode. But basically, Susanna and Jameson are thinking about married, and Samuel starts to question different things. Like one of the things he questions before dinner and during the class is the diary that Jameson has read during the class to just get the class going about Sherman attacking, certain cities and setting them on fire.
Such a well kept diary.
It's such a well kept diary. And basically, Kittredge has to see it. He looks at it. It's an immaculate condition for a Civil War diary, and he invites Jameson to his house for dinner, where he basically, in no uncertain terms, has questions calls him out. He has questions. He says, "Walter, how old are you?" Right? He asks him, how old you are, and basically, and he comes up with a book. The Diary of a Certain Soldier, and he basically this Sam Kittredge has a bunch of things, books and pictures about the Civil War. He's a Civil War guy. He likes, and he has a book of pictures, and in the pictures, he is found to accuse Walter Jameson of something, and basically he finds Walter Jameson is the person who owns the diary.
That is you, isn't it?
That is you, isn't it? And therefore it begins it becomes an episode about getting older and being scared of death. And basically, Walter Jameson explains to Kittredge that, it's not just the Civil War. I've been alive since this guy. He walks over to a
2,000 years.
2,000 years. Right. He's been alive since Plato. He knew Plato and all these different things. And basically what happened was he went to an alchemist and he told an alchemist that he was scared of death. And the alchemist said, I can make it work for you. And he gave him a potion and he went to sleep and he woke up and the alchemist and everybody was gone. And he's been living on the planet for 2,000 years. And we find out in the episode that he's never been to the hospital. He's never been scarred, accidentally hit with a bullet, anything. Nothing's ever happened to him. And it basically says,
yep.
The magic is real, but the luck is also real. I've been very lucky.
The end is great too.
Yeah, nothing has happened to me. Don't check for pods in the basement. Not with Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy, one of the great actors, and of course what Jasper's referring to. Can I possibly convince all three of you to participate in No Shave November?
Does that mean Jerry's got to grow hair in up top?
I already I'm already partially there.
Maybe. Kevin McCarthy, by the way, of course, famous for Invasion of the Body Snatchers, also was in a bunch of movies in the 80s that we love, like Inner Space, where he was showing up because directors wanted to work with a legend.
Joe, if you can get people to pledge money, I'll do it.
Wow. I had said no to this. Now you're both going to go, oh, yeah, we'll do it.
Well, if we can raise money for a good cause.
I don't look good with a beard. I don't.
You don't look good with a Raiders hat on either, but I mean, you wear it every week.
Those are fighting words.
Back to the Twilight. They are fighting words. Back to the Twilight Zone. I don't care. I don't care what you're saying. But Kevin McCarthy, it becomes a fact that he wants to marry the guy's daughter, and he won't let him. And then that leads to a fight, and basically Jameson says, "We're going to get married tonight." And all the while, there's a woman who's been lurking in the background of the episode. She's an older woman, and she basically comes up next to Walter in his house and says, "You're my husband. You left me, and I won't allow you to marry another woman because you belong to me." And all through the episode, Jameson has talked about a revolver he has in his desk that he has just never had the guts to pull the trigger because he was scared of death, and he still is a coward. But basically, this old woman gets a hold of the gun and shoots him. And it's the first time he's ever been hit with anything. And as it happens, the moment it happens, guilt JW into it, Jerry and Kyle. Laugh out loud. Shut up, Raven. I don't say that often. I like Raven too much. But once he gets hit with the bullet, the years pour onto him. And he eventually ends up a pile of dust on the floor. And it's, but he's not scared anymore, which is interesting. Like, he says that to Samuel, like, I've never experienced any kind of pain like this. But I'm not afraid of death anymore. And so he goes into the unknown after 2,000 years. And the funny thing about it is, Kittredge mentions the idea of, did you gain any wisdom from all these years on the planet? He's like, nope. I'm the same person I was. I've just bounced from time to time. And he goes, maybe that's the problem with humanity, is we never really change. We're no matter what gifts are given to us, we don't change. And it's touching, it's poignant, and it ends with this narration. It's just a great episode. And again, this is dust on the floor. He's become dust on the floor in his suit. Last stop on a long journey, as yet another human being returns to the vast nothingness that is the beginning, and into the dust that is always the end. It's great writing. There's nothing sinister about him being immortal, or that he's lasted for 2,000 years. And he's really the interesting part of the interesting thing of the show is he does fall in love, although he expressly tells the Susanna's father, Professor Kittredge, I tried not to, because I know what happens.
You've done that.
I know what happens. I don't know what I'm lying about, but it might not be me. But he goes, I know what happens.
Could be me.
I know about, it could be you. I know about the amount of pain that could be involved with her. It's just a great episode. It's fantastic. It's well written. And it asks questions, and it like movies and stuff. It might share like a lineage with any of the movie, like the movie I was thinking about today because of Blake Lively doing so well, The Age of Adeline, right? The idea, like all these movies where people kind of bounce, like Benjamin Button, kind of it has a Benjamin Button feel to it. The episode, but it's a really great episode. Ken McCarthy, it's a showcase for him. He's really great. He wears the Civil War ring, and that's another way that Kittredge catches him. It's got a lot of clues. It's funny. It's also like not sinister, and it's completely like I was a coward then, and I'm a coward now. Everyone is afraid of death, Sam. Right? Everyone is afraid of death. And Sam is basically, can you show me the trick? And he's like, I don't have the trick. I don't know the trick. And we can't do it now anyway.
Yep. And he's been contemplating shooting himself.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. The interesting thing about it is he's so lonely, right? He goes, yeah, you think you want immortality. What age do you want to be? 30, 40? And he goes, but you watch the people you love die. More Jerry and Kyle. Okay. Likes me my ass. Kyle's my buddy now. Laugh out loud. More Jerry and Kyle. Boo JW. Okay.
He keeps bouncing them back and forth.
I don't know. But it was a great episode. Next week, if it's the episode I think it is, and I think I know what it is. Next week's episode is People Are Alike All Over. It's Roddy McDowall as an astronaut who goes to Mars.
Good one.
It's a great episode. People Are Alike All Over next week on Twilight Zone Redux.
And that episode's like interesting because of the time.
That episode, right? Yes, that episode also has
that, right?
Yes, that episode tie-in for Papillon or a tie-in for.
No,
I don't know. Then you got to tell me. I'm feeling dumb right now.
and Roddy McDowell's in it.
Oh yeah, no, okay, yeah.
Think of the plot of the Twilight Zone, and then think of the movie. But he was on the opposite end of that. And Charles Heston's your clue.
Yeah. No, I got it. Yeah, Roddy McDowell before he becomes Cornelius, in a really classic Twilight Zone episode. Okay, more Jerry and Kyle next week. Night Gallery, probably not. It's gonna be Twilight Zone. We're going all the way. I'm going all.
Night Gallery was
great episode, guys. But an hour early. Kyle Fat has taken over the screen. JW, you're totally regretting this. I'm not. You know what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with Kyle having fun. That's all I really care about. Okay, that's a great place to stop. I don't like you down there. I don't like you underneath.
He likes Jerry being his bottom.
Yes, I don't like you anywhere. I don't like you anywhere near my junk.
This is like I have this whole
where
to myself.
So I see you survive Swamp Fest this week, Jerry.
Smooth.
Do you have any shows or anything coming up with Slapjaw or anything you got going on?
Late September, we were playing out in New Jersey at Dingbats in Clifton.
Nice.
Great place for metal.
Cool. Kyle, did you get a pop this week? Are you pop focused this week?
I did actually. I got a really fun one. I think.
Goes the weasel.
Got this. It sucks with the lighting in here. I know.
That was the shine.
Darth Vader one that's got like a reddish black tint
cool.
going on. It was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
For this year?
The Rogue One, yeah. From this year.
Nice.
The summer limited edition 2024.
Nice. Super cool. Okay, so I am going to be on Have Cheetah Will View tomorrow night. I will be live at 8:00.
There might be some run-ins. Who knows?
Yeah. We're a wrestling show now.
Yeah.
There might be some run-ins.
All of a sudden, a musical hit. Lights will go nuts. Big pop. All of a sudden, choke slam.
Or a Superman punch.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big pop. Pretty big pop.
The camel clutch.
He's been trying to be face for 15 years. And who knew that all it took was 3 months, take 3 months off.
And now he's the over-the-counter chief.
Oh, over-the-counter chief? I was thinking one true chief, and then they're like original tribal chief. I like one tribal chief. Like I think one is better.
The one is
Strongbow.
One. We're getting a little bit nerdy. But also next week on Generation Movie, which is next Monday night, August 19th. Did Jerry just say Jerry's a bottom and Kyle's a switch? Yeah, possibly. Take that. No shaving your balls November. No, stop. Please. Later has somebody back on to say it. Yep. Okay, Raven. Thank you. Don't forget to tune into Plex for the only place that streams the Drew Carey Show. Yes, that was a great pickup, Ken. It's the only place that I had 30 years ago today. Night chair flew Mick Foley. Yeah, also a great night.
No, 30 years ago tonight, I was actually at Woodstock 94 watching 9 Inch Nails with that iconic set in the mud.
Oh my God. Just down. Anyway, The Crow, Monday, August 19th on Generation Movie at 10 p.m. Me and Rich Drees are looking at The Crow. Of course, the new Crow opens next Friday, so we're being a little bit timely.
I've heard
but
some
also,
bad reviews already.
Well, there's, getting over this movie is going to be hard. Brandon Lee, Believe in Angel. It's a great movie.
Great soundtrack too.
Great soundtrack. It's one of the definitive 90s movies, and also part of the allure of it, and part of the reason people can't get over it is he was a budding superstar. He was about to become huge.
Yep.
And to lose him here, he'd only made 1 or 2 movies that were
rapid fire.
Mainstream rapid fire. and then he had Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Yep.
So like he was just starting to get his sea legs, and this was the movie that was gonna make him a star, and it did make him a star, and then he's gone, and so people have such a touchstone for this movie that remaking it, like I think part of the thing they're gonna have trouble getting over is, I think people think remaking it is sacrilegious, or it somehow, it goes against Brandon Lee's memory. Is what I think the psychological, or I can't believe we're fighting about like he doesn't look goth enough, or he looks too goth, or I don't know if I like the violence. It's like, okay, relax. Let's see what they do with the reboot. Let's see how if it kind of like lives up to anything. Skarsgård's a really good actor. He gets in every role he's in. Pennywise. He's about to become Nosferatu. Like he works really hard, so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know what's going to happen. Well, Nosferatu is a Christmas present for me. Feels like it's directed just for me on Christmas. I can get out of the house. We'll be playing with kids with toys all day, and then I'll go watch, a good vampire movie on Christmas Day. It's beautiful. But The Crow next week on Generation Movie. Of course, we will be back next Tuesday night on Loud and Nerdy. Thank you for joining us tonight. Everybody have a great week. Have fun at Alien. Buy a popcorn buckle. The sequels are all horrible. Yes, that's another reason that people just don't trust the reboot. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see everybody next week. I am live tomorrow night on Have Cheeto Reviews podcast at 8 p.m. He apparently asks questions. I'm kind of terrified. Have a great night.